Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your neighborhood Unitarian Universalist congregation. My name is Suzanne. I'm the music director here, and I have your announcements. Good morning. Our current show continues until May 26th, though I see some pieces are missing. That's today. Great. It's coming down today, everyone. AGM Part 2 is happening next Sunday from 12 to 1. Members will vote on accepting our 2023 financial statements and indebtedness report. Please join us to complete this last piece of AGM business.
Susanne,
Yes.
Can I just mention that
Yes.
there is
No problem.
There are proxy forms just under by the screen out there on the table, and there are agendas. It's going to be a short meeting. But if you're not able to make it, please complete a proxy form so you can assign your vote to someone else.
Thanks, Alison. For our Caring Circle, training for volunteers is happening on June 1st. The Caring Circle works as a team and meets via Zoom. You can contact Rev Pat Trudeau if you're interested, and she'll send more information, or she's here today. You can just speak to her after the service. The Interfaith Pride Fair is also happening June 1st from 1 to 3. That's hosted by East End United here at 310 Danforth, with various leaders of welcoming religious organizations participating. All are welcome to attend. Conversations on Racism in Canada is happening June 16th from 1 to 2:30 p.m., presented by Reverend Pat and Dr. Wilburn Hayden. Participants will be able to engage in a discussion of interpersonal and systemic racism in Canada. The goal is to foster deeper understandings necessary for moving towards dismantling the effects of white supremacy and colonialism. Exploring the origins of anti-Semitism and Islamophobia is happening here in Rayfos Hall on Sunday, June 9th from 2 to 3:30 p.m. Following the presentation, there will be a discussion on ways we can support one another through these uncertain times. We thank the Danforth Multi-Faith Commons and the East Toronto Multi-Faith community for organizing this event. Coffee Committee has a call out for volunteers. Can you donate goods such as crackers, cheese, fruit, etc.? Or even better, consider signing up to host a Sunday so that Linda can have a Sunday off. Linda's here today. You can speak to her after service if you can help out in the kitchen for Sunday snacks. Next Sunday is our annual flower communion. Please bring in a flower with you to service, or maybe two, to add to our colorful communal bouquet. You'll be invited to select a flower to take home with you as a symbol of the beauty and diversity of our community. This can be flowers from your own gardens if you have. Town Hall is happening today for Sunday service feedback. How do you think our services are going? Do you have ideas about what you'd like to see or hear or experience when we come together each week? The Sunday Service Planning Team is holding a town hall to solicit your feedback about this year's services and themes and hear your ideas for the next year. You will also get an update on our current interim ministerial search and information about a new evening service initiative. Come out and help shape another year of spiritual growth and exploration in this community. Council of All Beings Workshop is happening June 15th from 10:30 to 5 at the Bain Co-op. Gather in this community ritual to speak on behalf of the non-human world and receive their gifts to continue healing and protecting our planet. Will be facilitated by Bruce Line, Larry Nussbaum, and Natalie Zend. Our services are created by our staff and volunteers, myself, music director, Julia Thompson, our lifespan learning director, Rev Pat Trudeau, our contract minister. Today, Gillian Newcomb, our service weaver, and we have Natalie Zend at the AV desk and Bruce Line as our Zoom host. Thank you to everyone for today and all week long, all the volunteers that help out. Next Sunday, we start the June monthly theme of Joyful Justice with a message entitled Dreaming Justice by Reverend Lynn Harrison. I will be providing the music, Alison Kabayama will be our service weaver, and Julia Thompson will do our Time for All Ages.
Thank you very, very much, Suzanne. That's a hard job, I know, because I've had to do it the last few times, and I appreciate you being here today. Good morning, everyone. It's so great to see you here in person, and hello to those who are joining us on Zoom. Hello, Zoomers. I just had an inspiration. You're not Z-O-O-M-E-R-S. You are Z-U-U-M-E-R-S. Thank you. Thank you. I feel really, truly honored to be weaving the service again this morning. And in case you missed it during the announcements, my name is Gillian Newcomb. It is Sunday at last. Let's all take a deep, collective breath and slowly let it out as we begin by creating sacred space. Please now silence those annoying pinging, ringing machines that so distract us in our daily lives. Thank you so much. It is time to focus on the here and now for the next hour or so. Please join me in reading our invocation. Let us cast the circle of a sacred space here. Let us cast the circle of a cherished space here. A space of safety, a place of forgiveness, a place of love. If we want the world to change, we must craft in our space and in ourselves the seeds that grow a different kind of life. A life of graciousness, of creative intelligence, a place of life and spirit for our friends and our families. I now invite Karen Richards to come up and light our chalice. Come on up, come on down. You're the next contestant on.
She got fired. No, she doesn't have five. Where's the net? There.
Beautifully done, thank you. And now our prelude today will be offered by Shilpa Sharma, whom we are delighted to have back with us this morning. Welcome, Shilpa.
Susanne and I are going to start with a song that we've been working on for over 10 years. And I say working on because it's one of the most challenging songs that we do together. And every time we practice it or perform it, we always find something new about it. You know, Susanne will say, should it actually be that slow? Should it be a little bit faster? And, you know, we find new creative ways to do it every time.
Thank you so very much. That was beautiful. And you can tell that it takes years of training and tremendous talent to be able to sing so beautifully and with such ease. Didn't it look like it was no effort at all? But no, I know. The little bit of singing I do, I know that was a creation from within. Absolutely. As we continue in sacred space, let us first take a moment to acknowledge that the Mississaugas of the New Credit, the Wendat, the Anishinaabeg Nation, and the Haudenosaunee Confederacy lived here before us and are living here now, together with other First Nations, Métis and Inuit. I am grateful for their reminders and teachings about our connection to Mother Earth. I strive to stand in solidarity with Indigenous communities by keeping an open mind and learning from writers and storytellers about the history of Indigenous peoples and the ongoing struggles that they face. June is National Indigenous History Month. It is a time to join in the celebration and expand my awareness and understanding and find ways to deepen my experience as I work in my small way to help create a more just and equitable society on this shared place. Our mission at Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist Congregation is to foster spiritual growth and shared action for the care of our world. The members and friends of Neighborhood are open to many beliefs and learn from many traditions. We welcome all people, including those who are looking for a spiritual community. If you're visiting us here for the first time, in person, a very warm welcome to you. I'm not sure if I see many new faces, but I will assume we have new people here. Please consider yourself invited to stay after service for a lively time of refreshment and conversation. And if you select a red mug, it will signal that you're interested in learning more about who we are and what we do at Neighborhood. We do hope you'll come back, not only because the more people we have amongst us, the better we are able to fulfill our mission, but also because it really takes a couple of times, a few visits for a person to fully get what we do and what we're all about. And if you're joining us on Zoom for the first time, hello to you as well. The theme for the theme for the month of May is the spirit of creativity. And today, Rev Pat will offer a continuation of her exploration of creativity in everyday life. Why is this so topical for us? Why does Rev Pat feel it's important to connect us with the notion of imbuing creativity in our daily lives? Don't we already do this? Sadly, for many of us, I don't think we do. I look back to my early days when I studied and worked with preschool children. Little kids are naturally creative. In fact, I believe creativity is an innate human trait. But what happens as we age? School, for one, which turns our focus onto how we are to be evaluated, the end result, rather than the process by which we came to our final product, be it a painting, a poem, or even how we resolve conflicts with our classmates. And by the time we've reached adulthood, that free and spontaneous creativity has often, not always, but has often all but disappeared. But is it really gone? I'd like to believe it is not. I believe it is possible, even necessary, to resuscitate our inner creative child in order for us to fully tap into the essence of our being Have you ever been lost in a creative endeavor, trying out a new recipe for dinner, practicing an aria, writing a story, or engaging in brainstorming with work colleagues? You've been so focused on the activity itself that once you resurface, you feel like you've been in a sort of dream or trance-like state. I believe that state is when we're at our very best as humans. Some might call this a state of being transcendental, spiritual, or being close to God. I don't know much about that. I just know it's when I feel most happy, vibrant, and alive. As mathematics professor Dr. Gillian Newcomb has said, the creative adult is the child who survived. The creative adult is the child who survived. I'd like to suggest that you throw your inner creative child a rope to grab onto and pull them from the depths. Let go of your fear of judgment. Focus on the doing and not the end product, and simply delight in wherever it takes you. And now, in the spirit of creativity, I'd like us to try a new way that we might be able to greet each other. Today, we're going to greet our neighbors without words. We're going to do something that's called mirroring, where you face the person you're going to greet and the two of you mirror each other's actions. Now, Julia is going to demonstrate this with me right now, and then I'll come back and explain a little further. Okay, I won't turn it off. All right, so here we are. And then Julia will do something different. All right. Thank you, Julia. So as you saw, I did several motions, and then she copied me, and then she did several motions, and I copied her. Now, for people with visual impairment, you can do this by using sound. So made either with one's mouth or hands or other body parts, like this. There we go. Do you get the picture? All right, then. You know what? This is an experiment, and it might flop, right? But that's the nature of creativity. Some processes are beautiful, and some not so much. But that's okay. We're trying. So let's give it a try. And Susanne will chime when it's time to end, and remember to say hello to the Zoomers.
Let's sing together. Please rise in spirit for the beauty of the earth.
For the splendor of the skies, Hello. Perfect. So I would love to invite any kids. That would be great. I'm just going to take this off since I don't need it. Just put it there. Anybody else? Any other kids who'd like to join us and their parents if you want? Bring your parent with you. I need a few people with this. I'm going to need some help. Aw, thank you. Well, this is a story that wasn't written by anybody. That's kind of weird, right? Did I just say that? I mean, we have an illustrator, and his name is Aaron Becker, and he did write one word, which is journey. Well, I guess technically you were going to say it.
He wrote his name.
You took the actual words right out of my mouth. He did write his name, so there are 3 words there that he wrote. Well, can we have the first slide? What's missing from the first picture? Words. You know what? I feel like this illustrator, Aaron Becker, is maybe inviting us to create
Create the story.
Yay! Are you ready for it? Let's do this. And you know what? The title Journey, doesn't that draw you in? It's like it's full of so many possibilities. So let's go for it. I'm going to tell some of the pictures, the story, and then I'm going to, if anybody wants to jump in and try a page out to tell, that would be great. All right. So once upon a time, there was a sad girl who was sitting in front of her house moping. Anybody want to continue?
The girl's sister was playing video games on her camera, and the sad girl was playing with a ball on the couch.
So she went into her bedroom and sat on her bed moping. Her cat was there. The cat got up, and the girl noticed something on the floor that she had never before seen, and it was a red crayon. She wondered where it had come from. Want to give it a try?
She drew a door, and then she left her papers and then went in the door right away because something basically.
Yes, something basically happened. Look at that. I wonder what's going to happen. All right. What happened? Anybody want to jump in?
She came out of a tree and into a forest with lots of lights.
Yes. Next page. And there was a river running through the forest, and she was looking down at the river, at her reflection with the crayon, and she had an idea. She drew herself a boat. Anybody want to give it a try?
The boat went into a castle, and the castle had lots of passages of water. So yeah, the boat kept moving, and then there was the yellow people waving at her.
And she came to the very edge of the water, sort of the waterfall, and she was hovering there. And as she looked out into the sky, the clouds, she could see this kind of contraption that looked like a flying tank or something, and maybe a blimp. And there were people with a net trying to catch a beautiful pink bird. And to save herself from falling, she
made a perfectly matte that actually would feel kind of soft.
Exactly. Anybody want to try this one?
She flew into the sky, and the pink bird followed her.
Yes, next one. And she came, when she landed, she came to a palm tree. And there was a door in the palm tree that was just like the door that she had drawn when she had first started her adventure from her bedroom. And this time it was a pink door. And the bird was standing right in front of it, and then it started flapping its wings, so it was trying to tell her something. And she thought, I bet it's trying to tell me to go through the door. So the bird flew through the door, and she crawled through it. I wonder where she's going to end up. Let's see.
She ended up out of a mailbox. There was the bird flew to a boy with a purple crayon. Then they both drew circles, or those hula hoops.
And I wonder what the hoops turned into, the circles. Anybody want to finish the story?
It turned into a bike with a red and blue wheels, and the bird followed them. And I guess they were brother and sister. Maybe. Or friends. The end. BFFs.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Thank you for creating with me.
We are going to have a very simple meditation today as we look at images of flowers. And these photos were taken by Wilburn Hayden, who lives at my house, my spouse. And this is just called Beauty. So with help from our tech, thank you for doing this, we'll just look at each image, and I'd ask you just to meditate on the image, simply, no words. Let's have the first slide. These are all images that come from our home and from our neighborhood that I would have missed had he not taken the time to photograph them. Thank you. The theme for this month is the spirit of creativity. Creativity is a powerful force in any human life. It is the human capacity, a human capacity of a transcendent nature. Similar to spirituality, it takes us beyond ourselves. The psychologist Rollo May describes creativity as the process of bringing something new into being. I would argue that creativity is also the process of bringing something old into a new form and meaning. It can involve making something tired and true, or I changed it to tired and blue, come alive again. It can transform, we can revive, we recreate. I was particularly drawn to Julia Cameron's work, which is where I began my study of creativity and where I go when I get lost in the day-to-day sameness of routine tasks. In her work, I find support for the belief that all humans can access creativity. Cameron states, "Through my experiences, I have come to believe that creativity is our true nature." These are some of the basic principles that she extols. How many of you are familiar with Julia Cameron's work? Good. Creativity is the natural order of life. Life is energy, pure creative energy. There is an underlying indwelling creative force infusing all of life, including ourselves. The refusal to be creative is counter to our true nature. It is safe to be open to open ourselves to greater and greater creativity. She reminds us that it is part of our nature to be creative and that art is not limited to artists. There is a little of the artist in all of us. It is a given quality that can be developed and enhanced. Another strong proponent of the theory of everyday creativity is Abraham Maslow, who asked, "But why do people not create or innovate?" We have got to abandon the sense of amazement. We've got to abandon that sense of amazement in the face of creativity, as if it were a miracle if anybody created anything. And another quote from Bill Moyers, "Creativity is piercing the mundane to find the marvelous." Many Unitarians, Universalists, see creativity from a spiritual perspective. It is a faith that encourages members to explore and express the aesthetic side and to open the heart and mind to the fullness of life in all its aspects. Unitarian Universalists often say things like, I am a spiritual being. Our lives are spiritual journeys. But we don't always explain what this means. Whereas some religions offer specific paths towards specific spiritual fulfillment, Unitarian Universalism is more open-ended, with directions less specified and paths more numerous. For example, rather than just sticking to scripture, we often explore other forms and other literature for guidance in our spiritual quest. The poetry of Rumi, chanting, native wisdom, to name a few. There are many paths and many ways to kiss the ground. In the absence of specific paths towards specific fulfillment, a resource like Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way, there's a whole series of books and workbooks. Materials can be tools for our spiritual discipline and valuable techniques for integrating spiritual life and creativity. One technique is the method of writing morning pages. This is a technique whereby, and some of you have probably may have done this, where you write 3 pages every morning. No filters, no editing. You just simply write, and you do it as a discipline day by day. And it's amazing to me what unfolds in those 3 pages. Just one technique. And that can be used for spiritual practice that can connect the writer to the collective unconscious or the universal sacred in the same way that prescribed prayers connect people of other faiths to the divine. My own theology of creativity assumes that spirituality and creativity are integral and essential elements of a whole life. I believe that as a minister to spiritual seekers, it is essential to continually renew my own spiritual resources through acts of creativity and imagination. In seminary, we were each required to have a spiritual practice and to change that practice from time to time. But I really appreciated that. In other words, it helps me to have a spiritual practice that is both disciplined and creative. I sometimes wonder why it took me so long. I wonder why I had not allowed myself an embodied spiritual practice sooner. Why did it take so long to realize that I could dance my prayers? Why did it take me so long to realize that I could replace the rosary that I used to use as a child and into my young adult life with my prayer beads, my bracelet? And I use that as prayer beads. Why did it take so long to realize that I could embody my spirituality, that I could express it that way? I believe that what gets in the way of the spiritual quest for original thinking and daily creativity are the many myths that exist to dissuade us. Creativity is part of what makes us human, but there exist so many societal myths that deter people from thinking of themselves as creative. I'll just name a few. I'm just going to put this down. Kenneth Sawyer, a researcher on creativity, aptly outlines several of the myths around the universality of creativity in his seminal work, Explaining Creativity, the Science of Human Innovation. He argues against the notions that, 1, creativity is about artistic expression. We value and admire painters, sculptors, and poets for their creativity, but other types of people can be creative too, and they are amongst us. Teachers, scientists, doctors, secretaries, and the list goes on. Stage crew. There's a myth that only a small segment of the population is creative. Where did we get that notion? Some people feel that the words creative and creativity should be used only when referring to inventions and ideas that are totally new to the world. In this view, winners of the Nobel Prize are creative, but not the rest of us. That's pretty limiting, don't you think? Myth 3, creativity comes in a flash of insight. We hear about the aha moment. Popular stories about creativity often revolve around the aha moment. Isaac Newton recognized the universal nature of gravitational force when he was sitting underneath an apple tree and an apple hit his head. It fell out of the tree and he had the aha moment. That's a story. But such aha moments are just a small part of the creative process. Most scientists, inventors, and artists recognize that creativity is a long-term process. It takes a long time to make a painting. It takes a long time to choreograph a dance piece or to write something meaningful, to write a story. Myth 5, inherited creativity. Some of you may recognize this one. One of the biggest blocks to creativity that I have observed is people being told that they just don't have that artistic bone in their bodies. They don't have any artistic bones in their body. Or that the artist gene somehow skipped them. I was told that I could draw, but that I wasn't musical. That's not true. What a cruel way to crush a tender soul, to limit and to deny someone's creativity. Last week, I mentioned many types of everyday creativity. We can be creative in our relationships, problem solving, activism, our parenting, and our jobs. This week, I considered the possibility of relationships as an arena for creativity. As I negotiated many things with my spouse, I began to notice all the creative ways that people negotiate intimate relationships. I also went back to the origami creations in my drawer and remembered that I used to sit in the airport and make origami creations. Or at meetings, folding peace cranes to send to friends. I don't know why I stopped that. The cranes I made represented peace during time of war. These paper cranes, come originally from the ancient Japanese tradition of origami or paper folding, but today they are known as symbols of peace. People made cranes after Hiroshima. They are folded as a wish for peace in many countries around the world. I cannot think of a better time for us to make cranes than the current time. I'm not sure why I stopped making them or other forms of art that I used to enjoy when I was younger. Perhaps I just wanted to be taken more seriously as an academic and more seriously as a minister. I wrote papers, but I stopped folding them. So what stops you? What gets in the way of you being creative in everyday life? Last week, I invited you to make something out of a piece of paper and tell a story about it. Is there anyone who did that and would like to speak briefly about it? Anybody make an origami creation? You did? Do you want to come up and tell us about it? Or I can just bring the mic to you.
Out there. Hi. Yeah, at the end of service, there was lots of origami paper left, so I picked up a whole bunch and thought, well, this is what Beata was going to do. So I Googled origami and started with basic, got 2 done, and by the 3rd, I've got great, I always thought I had great spatial, but I couldn't get any further, so I was a little frustrated. But it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. Anybody else? Allison, come on up.
I wasn't here, but my father's craft was origami, and my son Tayo took over from him. And for his wedding last weekend, I helped him. He we made 240 origami cranes that were part of the gifts and decoration at his wedding.
Wow. Thank you. Anybody else? We've got time for 2 more.
So I was abysmal at origami, and my son showed me that there needs to be a story with a folding. And so every time you make a fold, you have a story to help understand why that fold exists. So for myself, I did learn how to do a crane, but I'm going to admit, I did not make this, but this is the type of thing that I could do. And the reason why I like it is the symmetry, the fact that you can flatten it out. It is flat, but it is also about the representation of the wind and the movement of the wind. But it does help to not do it by YouTube, but to do it by someone who knows the story behind the object.
Thank you. Joanne, did you want to come up? Oh, yeah. Oh, come, please, come.
Well, last week you gave my boys 2
Yes, I did.
birds, and it awakened their creativity and our creativity. We have a big box full of them, so I was thinking I should take a picture and send it to you. It was pretty. We have all the different paper, like it's so incredible. We're doing balloons. We're doing. Moving birds, like it's been wonderful. Thank you.
Well, thank you for telling me and telling us, and maybe we can put those pictures up on the on our Facebook website, our Facebook page. Thank you. All right. And did I miss anybody? All right. Come on up.
Hi everyone, I'm John Paul, and for the origamis, with the folding of the paper, went back to childhood and was just making paper airplanes. So, yeah. Anyway.
Thank you. All right. So there's so much creativity in this community. When people talk about neighborhood, the first thing they say is it's a creative community. So thank you for sharing and for your courage in sharing. So we can all be creative. It takes courage doing something differently, thinking differently, and letting go of old concepts. This week, consider bringing something new into being or making something old new again. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Reverend Pat. Oh, here we go, flying papers. That must be the theme. Would you like to take your papers away? Great, thanks. So I was trying to think of a creative way to introduce our next segment and talk about going outside your comfort zone. I could only think of this. Money makes the world go around, the world go around, the world go around. Money makes the world go around, that clinking, clanking sound makes the world go around. Anyone know where that's from? Cabaret. I knew Kurt would get it right away. And then I thought maybe we should do a whole service in show tunes. Maybe not. We'll save that for talent night. But it's a neat idea, isn't it? Before we begin our weekly collection, I'd like to highlight that if you have a donation in your pocket today, please take a few minutes to put your name on an envelope. You'll find one in the chair pocket in front of you, and slip your contribution inside. Put your name on it. This will help us identify your donation, and early next year you'll receive a tax receipt, which you can apply towards a tax credit when it comes time to submit your taxes. Greeters, please take your time to ensure everyone who wants to can fill out their details on an envelope. And if you have already provided your mailing address once, you don't need to do it again, just your full name should suffice. And if you're feeling rushed and you need more time, you can bring your donation up after the end of service into the basket. Members and friends of neighborhood can give either through the weekly collection, predated checks, e-transfers, or automatic withdrawals. Our friends on Zoom can use the QR code displayed on the screen, which will lead you to our website donation page. And now in the cappuccino room, you can do the same. There's a poster with the QR code there for your convenience. Thank you for doing that, Peter. Great idea. In whatever way you choose to give, your generosity is sincerely appreciated. The greeters can bring the baskets up to me once the collection is done. Was just beautiful. I have pins and needles and shivers down my spine. Thank you, Shilpa and Susanne. If you have found love and acceptance here, if you have found home here, if you have known kindred spirits here, if your creative inner child has come alive here, let this offering be a token of gratitude for our common life as we build the common good. And now, in the spirit of creativity, I'm going to ask everyone to please stand and form one circle. So we're going to do things a little differently to close. So please move back out if you're in the middle. Come on out from the inner rows and form one circle around the sanctuary. And then Julia and the children are going to teach us a new song. So please, and everyone join hands if you feel comfortable. I think we're doing well. I think this section here might need a little bit of coordination. That's it. Put your arms out, grab hands. That's beautiful, well done. We have a circle, almost. We'll just close it out with Deb and Madonna. Are you able to join? Perfect. And now, Julia, would you like to show us? I'm not sure if that mic is working. Why don't you use this one? Use this one. Okay.
I'll project. Do you want me to? Okay. So I'm going to teach you the actions that go with this song, and then we're going to try it out. And it goes like this. Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other's gold. As circles round, it has no end. That's how long I want to be your friend. So you're just going to, I know this is going to be very difficult, but just release the grasp of your neighbor's hands. Just, I know it's, you'll be able to do it again, don't worry. All right.
Could I suggest that perhaps you hold the mic and sing the beautiful song with your beautiful voice, and then the children can do the actions for us to follow.
Yes, I love it. Okay, so eyes on the children. Can everybody see? Okay, all right. So we start like this and then we go like this. Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other's gold. As circles round, it has no end. That's how long I want to be your friend. Yay.
One more time, but one thing we forgot to mention, when you say silver and gold, you look to your friend beside you. So we're trying to create a feeling of connection.
Okay. Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other's gold. As circles round, it has no end. That's how long I want to be your friend. And I have made so many new friends here at Neighborhood, so thank you. But I'll keep my old ones too.
Thank you so much, Julia, and the children. Now, if I could ask Karen to come up, please, and extinguish our chalice as we sing. And now Reverend Pat will close our service today.
Love your life. Honor your creative spirit. Creativity is your nature and your calling. Answer the call to write, to draw, and to change things. Like a child at play, be amazed, be always making new as you renew yourself. Amen.
Our service is ended, but Shilpa and Susanne will play us some beautiful music, and you're welcome to stay in the sanctuary to listen or to go out for refreshments in the cappuccino room. Thank you.